Okay, we're live from my bedroom on the road. And this week we like to thank Tires.com, MagicTonight.ca, and as well our new sponsor, Trulyyou. That's where Mom works, Trulyyou.ca. So why don't you reach out to them, because they're our sponsor, sponsoring us. We're sponsoring them back and forth. It's a big production number there. And we're talking to John Wing Jr., a hero of mine. He's also an author. He writes books.
Yes!
Yes, he does. And he's on stage. He's an artist. What do you think of that, Kanan.com?
Yes.
And, well, he's magic, but there's no magic. I mean, he doesn't do magic. Sorry about that, Ben.
Yay!
Okay. But first...
Dog.
Yes, I signed my soul on the dotted line. We are live from my bedroom on the road. And I'm not on the road again. I'm talking via the internet to somebody who I've only spoke with once in my whole existence, but he told me to settle down, and they're here for you. I was at the Just for Laughs Festival in '99. I was supposed to headline, but he showed up to do time, so I got paid. I'm not even sure he got paid. I got paid, and he was the headliner, which was fantastic for me, and I would do that again and again and again. He is someone who's been on television more than 200 times. You would know him to see him, and he's a Canadian icon at this point. He wouldn't accept that, probably. We'll give him another 10 years, and then he'll maybe accept that. But he was doing this pro and with a guitar in hand. And when I started with props, and then I was told you should use all of your talents when you get to stage, and I brought the guitar with me, and that's when it took off for me, because my talent isn't really stand-up comedy. It's entertaining and performing. But people can do it better than that and take the guitar and call it stand-up comedy, which I haven't really been able to do as of yet. It's more like a performance, and I enjoy it. But this gentleman helped me move forward in my career and allow me to be there and be comfortable, because he was doing it and allowed me to do it, because he is the trailblazer with a guitar in hand, or a fiddle, or an axe, however he wants to put it to you. And the one question I've been asking, this is my 37th show, and I would say half of those shows, John Wing Jr.'s name comes up, and people keep telling me he's dropped the Junior. And I said, you know what? I've known him so long, and I only know of him. He is always going to be John Wing Jr. He can do whatever he wants with that Junior, but that was his name when I met him. So he's going to talk to us about that, and my kids are in the room with their questions. So all I have to ask is, hello, sir.
Hello.
How
are you?
Oh, that was the biggest, longest intro ever. And slowly but surely, Skype will capture your voice. How is everything in L.A.?
It's all right. It's going to be nice today. We got a little marine layer about to be burned off. Pretty nice, though.
Did you say a marine layer?
Yeah, cloud cover in the morning. Sun burns it off by around 9, 10 o'clock.
No, I'm from Ontario, Southern Ontario. Does that happen on Lake Ontario?
Might.
I don't think so. That's fantastic. And how long have you been living in L.A.? Because I don't know anything.
I've been living in L.A., 27 years this month.
Okay. And do you think of yourself, when you think of yourself, as an American, or do you think of yourself as a Canadian?
Canadian.
The way you sold that to me, sir, I don't know if you believe it. Do you tell people you're Canadian when you're traveling in America?
I am Canadian.
100%.
Anything else?
I love that you just said that.
I have a Canadian passport, and I'm not an American citizen. Therefore, I'm a Canadian.
Right, so you're not hiding under any type of veil. You are a Canadian, telling people you're Canadian.
Yes.
Great. All right. And that was part of my day, to make sure you're still a Canadian. And do you tell people you're a stand-up comedian?
Yes, I am a stand-up comedian.
So you identify with the title of stand-up?
Well, I say entertainer, and if they ask further, I say comedian.
Right. And that's why I don't have to, when I ask you how you are, I don't have to delve any deeper. Because when you qualify yourself as an entertainer, you're just saying, I'm up there doing a show and I'm doing my thing and I'm making the people happy. But if you said you're a stand-up comedian and I asked how you are, I would really start asking, how are you? Where's your frame of mind? How are you feeling about yourself? Are you in a good place? But you're an entertainer.
Stop! I'm okay. Yeah, I'm in a good place. People still want to book me occasionally. Sure, I'm in a good place.
Yeah, you should be, sir. You actually should be. So, starting with that, you are no longer junior. Is that true?
Well, I just dropped it because after a certain age, it seemed silly to me to have a junior on my name. That's all. I dropped it comedically. I believe I still use it as an author. So,
And how many
just
books?
dropped it to the shows.
And how many books do you have under your belt? Again, this is a chat, not an interview, so I really didn't do any research.
9.
Wow, 7's a lie for sure. 6 is a joke. So is it 9?
Yeah.
Okay.
9.
Okay. And are they how-to books? I have not read. And what are
None
they?
of them are how-to books.
And
One is a memoir of the years roughly 1980 to 1990 as a comic,
okay.
and the other 8 are books of poetry. And I'm my 9th one is my deadline to hand in the 9th book of poetry is August 15th. I'm about halfway done.
A book of poetry. Well, yeah, you're a lyricist. You're capable of taking any song and putting different words to it to tell a different story with the melody. I've seen it happen for the course of the last 20 years of my life, actually seeing it.
Well, I write. I do mostly originals now. I don't do a lot of parodies anymore.
Well, that's okay.
But I do original songs. I've got. You're in Winnipeg, right?
I am not in Winnipeg. You're in Winnipeg. You're going to Winnipeg for your festival to get roasted.
Be at the festival?
Yeah, you're going to be at the festival between the 6th and the 12th, but you're coming
The 7th and the 13th, actually. Are you not going to be there?
I am not going to be at the festival. I am in Southern Ontario.
Okay, that's too bad. Well, I'll be playing around Southern Ontario some in May.
Well, then we'll see you in May. Wherever you're performing, I'll come by. And I'll bring my kids because it's a kid act. No, it isn't. But it is what it was, sir. Your act really helped me. I've been married 8 times. The last 3 times to the same woman. But your act really helped me stay married. The last time. Your act is really
married 8 times.
Well,
seriously?
Yes, sir. But the last 3 times to the same woman. So it's only 5. Okay. It's only 5 times.
5, yeah.
Yeah. I like being married. I have no other children than the children with the woman that I'm with now. So as you know, I don't know. Do you have any kids that you can call yours?
Yes, 2.
And how? Can I ask how old they are? And
22 and 19.
Oh my! So you've already done the parenting thing. I
have.
And how did that go? Part of this show and the reason it exists is because I have children and I've pulled myself off the road because I'm not really all that balanced as a human being, so I don't know how to do it. And I missed my family too much, and if I can't take them with me, I'm just staying here. Right now I'm directing television. I'm a television. If you come in May, I would love to have you on the television show to have you do something to promote you as you. I mean, nine books. How many albums do you have?
None. I'm in May. I'm going to be recording my first.
Oh. Well, that's just boggling. That boggled my mind right there because you just told me you're now doing original songs. I mean, you're going to be Weird Al Yankovic with originals. This is how I'm figuring it's going to come through because you have a great demeanor when it comes to your song storytelling. I love it. You're welcome. But all you're going to get is compliments out of me.
Where do you live?
I live in Port Credit, which is just outside of Toronto.
I know where it is.
Okay. And that's where I live. That's where I make home. But the studio is in Toronto. I say Toronto, so you know I'm visiting there. And it's a nice. We've been doing it for 10 years. To promote it to you, it's out there with Melissa DeMarco. It's on City. It's on Saturday nights. We're on the Bio channel. We're on Fox in America. And I've been doing that. Thank you. I've been doing that for the. It's nice to be working. I would say as a performer and as a talent in Canada, it's just nice to be working.
I would agree.
Sadly, this guy is my hero, and he's just agreeing that you're just happy to be working, and now I'm going to rant like either Regis or Gene Wilder. Yes.
Oh, it's always good to be working.
I know. Yeah, but then you don't get to be picky. You can't be picky in Canada. Whatever's offered to you, I'm happy to be working.
Hey, man, you can't be picky anywhere. I mean, you can occasionally turn something down, but not very often.
I've never turned anything down except for a
I
Pepsi
don't-
Cola
I
commercial.
don't do a lot of it either.
Yeah, I turned down Pepsi Cola. Only thing I've ever turned down because I just couldn't for the life of me sell something I wasn't involved in. But other than that, so John Wayne Jr., you dropped it just for because you can't be an old person with Junior. So should I stop calling you John Wayne Jr.? Am I being disrespectful? Am I?
Don't worry about it. Whatever you want to do.
I love Canadians. I don't think that's a if you're a truly an LA-anite. I don't even know if you call someone from LA, but an LA-avan, an LA Atollan. I don't know. An LA.
Angelino.
If that's real, hilarious. If that's true.
It's if you're from here or you live here, you can call yourself an Angelino.
I really, really love that. I've never actually been to LA as of yet. That's the only place I've been to. Almost all of the states as a traveling performer. LA was the scary part. Hollywood. I found that all my Canadian brethren, whoever went there, always came back. Well, the ones that didn't stayed, and the ones that did, 99% of them, came back with their tails between their legs and a broken spirit and hope. Did you find that with your friends that come visit you from Canada, that they're there very happy and then they leave very quickly?
It's not a place you can come to, I would say, late. You have to come when you're younger. When I first thought about coming here, I wanted to wait until I was ready, until I had my product ready to sell. But after I got here, when I met people from Canada, I would just say, just go. Don't worry about your product ready to sell. If you're young and strong and you have a reasonably good face for acting, just go, because you gotta learn the city. You gotta learn the whole grid of it. You gotta figure out how to get in show business here. And in truth, if you want to be a comic, this is not the best place to be. But I mean, at the time I wanted to be both a comedian and an actor. And once I decided I didn't want to be an actor, I was established here and I had family here and we had a home here and all that stuff. So I stayed, but it would be much easier if I could live somewhere else now. Although I'll admit I do like it here. I like the weather. I mean, my dream place to live, business-wise, would be Florida, because it would cut my travel to about a third of what it is now, maybe less.
Florida's a nice place for comedy. I enjoy. If you like old people, you need to like the old people.
Yeah, well, I do now.
Your brethren. I'm not even going to ask you how old you are because I don't care. I'm in the acting industry as well as the performing industry, so I don't care. You look awesome, and I can't wait to see you in May now because I didn't know you were coming by and recording an album. Do you know where you're going to be recording that album?
Yeah, in Port Huron, Michigan. I have a friend there who has a studio, and we're gonna do a couple of EPs, one of comedy songs and one of straight songs.
Nice, but you're not doing recording your live performance. It's going to be.
No, we're gonna record.
Nice. That's even. Have you ever been in the booth and done something like that?
Once with him many years ago, we did a recording of an old song by the Cascades called "The Rhythm of the Falling Rain," which I still have. I still have the recording of it on my iPod. That he made it. I just I recorded a guitar track and the main vocal track, and we did some backing vocal tracks, some oohs and ahs, and then he did everything else. And I remember it took 10 hours or something, a ridiculous amount of time to do the one recording. But he's got a great studio, and I've worked with him before, and we've known each other a long time. So I'm doing a bunch of gigs around Ontario. My parents live in Sarnia, which is right across the river, So I'll stay with my parents for a few days and go in and lay down tracks at his place.
That all sounds that all sounds great. Now it really does sound like you aren't really built for the acting industry. You hurry up and wait, or in our industry, it's hurry up and waiter.
It wasn't that. In my new book, I'm writing a series of prose. There's some prose in it, little road vignettes from the years, and one of them is essentially the history of my movie career or my acting career, for a lack of a better word, and it's 2.5 pages long, which gives you an idea how many times I was actually hired over a period of 20 years of auditioning pretty consistently.
Yeah, but anytime you go up for a part that says we need a John Wing Jr. type, I believe you got it every time. Your 200 television appearances means they wanted you.
No, those were all comedy. Those were all stand-up.
Yeah, that's you playing the part of you.
Maybe not. No, not all of them. But no. As a matter of fact, what you just said is why I quit.
Sorry, I didn't mean to bring it up.
No. I auditioned for a movie in 99 or 2000. I can't exactly remember the year. The movie was called Monkey Bone.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Chris Kattan vehicle.
Yeah, also the other guy, the Brandon Fraser.
Brendan Fraser, that's right.
Yeah.
And I was auditioning for the part of Stephen King, author Stephen King.
Yes, I'm sorry about that. Did they bring that up, or did you? Did they like put out a thing saying, "Hey, we're looking for people that look like Stephen King," and you answered, or did someone say you should go to this thing?
Well, I actually had an agent, and I was sent out on the job, and I got a call back, my first one in maybe 3 years, and I went to a dialogue coach to get the upper New England accent, and I went into the callback, and I thought I did well, and I never heard from them again. And when I didn't get it, I said to my wife, "Look, how good an actor am I? I look just like this guy. I sounded just like him. My teeth." The director said, "You have the same teeth as he does." And I didn't get it. So what is the damn point? What is the point?
No, you're right. You went for something.
If I can't even get the part of a guy I'm a dead ringer for. So that's when I stopped.
Now, hold on. I don't remember that movie because I have no short-term memory, and any movie I've ever remembered I saw more than 3 times with commentary. Wasn't the actual Stephen King in that movie? Didn't they get actually?
Yeah, he got the part. Yeah.
Yeah, he got. No, I know. See, but that's the thing. You should have taken it that way. The only way they can, you got beaten by the guy.
Yeah, but when I stopped, it didn't come out for a year or more. So I didn't know that it was Stephen King who got the part until it came out.
Yeah, that's.
So, yeah, but even so, who cares?
No, you're right. No, I'm happy that you're not an actor, even though I would love you to get $3.5 million for the same 5 minutes you do on stage scenario. And that's the reason I like acting, is because it is all you spend 3 months, but you get 5 years worth of pay, and if you get paid properly.
Right.
I mean, I have had some nice gigs, and that's another reason why we're talking is on the road gigs. Now, this one's really fun. Have you ever been roasted before?
No.
Right. It's not your birthday. You're not related to Justin Bieber. Why are you going this route, you think?
Why am I going to be roasted?
Yes, sir.
Oh, we did it. We roasted Al a couple of years ago.
Al Ray?
Yeah, and after that show, I suggested next time you should roast me.
Okay.
And he took me up on it this year.
All right, it's not your birthday. You didn't do anything crazy that I can remember. You're basically a nice guy.
Getting a Lifetime Achievement Award.
No, that's a reason to be roasted. Are you getting a Lifetime Achievement Award?
Yeah.
At the Winnipeg Festival?
Yeah.
Oh, congratulations. That's not written in any of the... I didn't see that written anywhere. Are you supposed to know?
It's called a Legacy Award.
Oh, okay. No, that's great. Oh, I didn't know. Legacy Award. Fantastic. And I'm assuming, and I hate using the word assuming, this is your only Lifetime Achievement Award? This first, rather? Your first of many?
Yes, my first Lifetime Achievement Award.
Okay, well, it's coming well-deserved. 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 I can edit that. I can edit that, yeah, sure. All right, so you're coming in on the 7th, and you said you're there, I thought it was to the 12th, but you said 13, which kind of confused me.
The roast is next Sunday.
Oh, that is
13th.
that's after the festival. The festival's to the 12th.
Well, it's the last day of the festival.
I see. I'm getting confused. So we're going to be in Winnipeg. Go ahead.
Wait a second. Hold on. Stop. Wait a second. No, the 13th is Monday?
13th is Monday.
Then I'm flying home that day.
Yeah,
yes.
So the roast is not on the 13th.
It's on the 12th.
It is on the 12th. Yeah, so April 6th to the 12th will be the festival. And on the last day of the festival, you're going to be roasted by a slew of hilarious, and they all look Canadian on the roster to me, by Canadians. So they all know you on the comings uppins, on your up and comings. They know you from the back wins. That's going to be fantastic.
Some of them know me, yeah.
Yeah, you might want to wear a bulletproof vest, and I don't know if you drink, but I wouldn't. Like I would, because your emotions might get.
I don't drink anymore.
Okay, you might not want to, just because everyone who's on that list is a machine gun. So I don't have a strong enough ego.
Who's on the list?
Well,
I haven't seen the list. Who's on?
Well, if you go to your website, which you listed, and so did Simon Rakoff, and that's the reason I knew it existed. Simon Rakoff was promoting that he's going there and telling people to send friends. And I have family out there in Winnipeg, so I've told all my friends and family to go see you as well as Simon. I mean, they're in for a treat. You guys bring it. I have never been to a show. You did time at Just for Laughs. You just showed up, my friend, for 7.5 minutes, and you stayed for 12. And Martha Chavez had to follow you, and then luckily I got between you two. You didn't make me become the headliner, which I thanked everybody. And
yeah.
You calmed me down in '99, my friend.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, it was, but it definitely set my feet afire. So you are everywhere. So in May I have you on the 22nd in Sarnia. So your folks, it's your folks. You're going to be performing for your folks. Are they coming out to the show on the 22nd?
No, I don't think they will.
Oh, I'm sorry, they won't be able to make it.
Well, my dad is not ambulatory.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
And my mother doesn't like to leave the house unless he's got it together. So and he doesn't. So she doesn't leave the house. So they probably won't come. But I had it was weird. What noise?
Pardon?
Hello?
Yeah, hi, I'm right here.
I was asked if I would do a gig in Windsor on those dates, the 22nd, 23rd. And it wasn't a very high-paying gig, but I wanted to do it so I could be in Windsor because my daughter lives there. And we were going to go to a Tiger game. And then all of a sudden, they started having second thoughts. I don't even know why. And then it cacked out. They decided not to do it. So the day after it stopped, I called this lady at this club in Sarnia that I'd seen my friend, the guy who's going to record my album. I saw him perform at this club a few months ago. So I called the lady who owned it and I said, I'd like to play it, and here are the dates I have open, and one of them was a date she had. So it turned out I took a bad gig that canceled and made it into a much better gig.
Are you your own producer? Because that in my world is what every stand-up performer / entertainer needs to know, is how to book yourself, how to keep yourself working. And that's one of the ways that keep you kind of moving forward in a career where if you're not working for you, sometimes no one's working for you. So you are still picking up a phone and saying, yeah, I'm booking myself. And you're feeling okay and confident about that because it's your career?
Well, I book myself. Sometimes I go through agents, but when I go through an agent, it means the agent called me. But mostly I book myself. I mean, on land. Mostly I book myself.
That's so funny you just said that, because I was just going to ask you about cruise ships, because you have a 19-year-old and a 21-year-old, and still you want to see them, and still you're their papa, but being away from them is definitely different than it was 20 years ago, or 19 years ago, or 18 years ago.
I've been away all their lives.
And how do you, I saw some posts online on Twitter saying I'm on the road and I wish I wasn't, I'm missing my loved ones. And things like that, I actually feel, it was just you posted it, sir, unless someone's hacked your account and was really endearing to the people you love.
Once in a while I post something, but I go on the road. It's what I do. I don't do anything else.
No, you do. You write books, and you.
Well, I do most of that on the road anyway.
Right.
Like I got back from. I'm not going to be home at all in May. I'm gone 5 weeks straight.
Right.
But spring and fall are my busy times. In the fall, I'm gone 6 weeks straight. But I got home on Wednesday. Yeah, this past Wednesday, and on Friday, my wife went on a 3-day camping trip with a couple of friends of ours because she needed to do that, and it's going to be the only time I'm going to get to see her. In the end, I'm going to see her 5 or 6 days this month, and those were 3 days that she had off that we could have been together, but she really needed to go camping. Yeah.
She won't hear this, Cass. Tell us what you really feel.
No, she really did. She really
needed to go camping. Oh, hold on. Is she from L.A.? Because I don't ever heard of anyone say I have to go camping unless you're from, I don't know, Toronto.
No, she's not from L.A. But
okay.
She just needed to get away and be with nature, which is something she really gets into, and it's something I don't. So she went, and I stayed home.
All right, I hear you.
No problem. I married a comic, so that helped a lot.
Okay, yeah. Well, marrying a comic means she understands the road, but
exactly.
then you might be in competition with her sometimes, which is always weird.
Not a comic anymore.
Oh, well, then you win. But if she was, you'd be in some competition all the time. Well, why did you get the gig and not me? Why are there too many men on the show? Where's the women? And that's anytime you work a show where there's no women on the stage, she's going to give you 5 pieces of why aren't I there? If she was truly working as a female stand-up comic.
Yeah, it's a problem. Competition can be a problem, but it never really happened for us.
I'm happy to hear that. It's only another reason that could break up your relationships. I'm happy that didn't happen for you.
She wasn't as ambitious as I was. And she ended up in another profession, which was fine.
Okay, great. Is it still in the biz? Is it still in show business?
No. Well, excuse me.
God bless you.
Can you hang on a second? I got to get a tissue.
You can get a tissue. Sure. Oh, my.
Hold on.
Well, a Canadian who's in L.A. who's got, well, he might have allergies, right? There might be some allergies out there in L.A. Allergic to sunshine. He might be allergic to sunshine. He might be allergic to, what else is in L.A.? I've never been. So farmers. I hear there's farmers in L.A. in Orange County. What else you got there in L.A.? You got, the marijuana growers. Got lots of marijuana growers out there in L.A. Maybe you're allergic to marijuana.
I don't do that anymore. Anyway.
Okay, you don't have to do it anymore. But it is something. Yeah, go ahead. You're talking about your wife and her story.
She ended up teaching. She teaches stagecraft, set design, and lighting.
No, that's still in the business. No, that's still in the business. But at least she's now truly behind the scenes. Like she's behind the scenes now.
Yes, true.
That's great. No, that's fantastic. No, I'm actually kind of intrigued by that because she wants the show to keep going on even though she can't be on the stage. She wants it a perpetual entertainment of the world, and she sees there's a use for it, and she's already making her vocation. Let's let other people below me, and so I can teach them how to do what I could do. That's fantastic. So you have a 19-year-old and a 20-year-old. Now, there's 2 stories here. One is, how do you keep your marriage alive, which you already said. She really understands you and the situation, so there's not a lot to explain. But the kids didn't understand as much. And my question is, do you have any coping skills, or was there something? This is people are going to listen to this, hopefully have kids, and they're in the business as well, and I'm looking for answers. I had to pull myself off the road. As I said, I'm going to go back on the road in 2028 for the Die Laughing tour. I'll only work, trailer parks and old age homes, and I promise a death per every show, but you have to be over 80. That's what I'm going to do. That's my life. But now I'm off the road. So do you have any coping skills of things that made it so... I mean, we have Skype now, so you could have Skyped your children 20 years ago. I mean, they don't have that anymore.
Yeah, or FaceTime.
You're right, that's now. But we're talking before there were phones. Before there were phones with the interface.
Because it was what I did, they never knew anything else. That's part of it. So, and they started to figure out when they were around 9 or 10 that if they wanted me to go to something, they would have to tell me well in advance. Are you going to be home at this time? Like one year, my daughter said, you should take me to, do you want to be one of the parents who goes on the Berkeley trip for this big, huge debate contest at UC Berkeley? And I couldn't go. Was it the first year I got a gig, but the next year I booked a time off. It was her last time at Berkeley, so I was able to do that. So I got to a few things, but,
No, and I'm sorry. The question was, and I'm just reiterating because you gave me the reason why I'm off the road. But do you have any copings other than trying to make it to the stuff you have, and that they didn't know any different? They didn't have another father who was like, well, that guy's father's always home.
I'm not a coper. I'm a fall aparter. Well, I just tried to make sure they had a lot of information, and I was available on the phone if usually we were on the phone a lot.
No, on the phone a lot is actually the answer I was hoping for. I was looking for some form of communication that you kept back and forth. Did you ever take your kids on the road?
We took Rachel when she was really young, when she was a baby, my older daughter, but no, I never did.
Okay.
I only took my wife on one road trip my whole career, you know what I mean? Unless we were working together.
Right. Is it a focus thing?
One cruise. No, I don't take them on the road.
Is it a focus thing, the reason you don't take them? Because you actually have to be ready and you're in a specific state of mind?
No, it's just business is business, and we don't mix them. That's all.
Right, the state of mind of business. I be more specific. So you're in. I'm here working. I can't be dealing with this in face to face right now. But if you want to call me, we can talk on the phone. I can understand how to.
And you don't make any money if you're bringing people. That's another thing.
Right, you don't make the same amount of money, but it is still one room, right? And
Well, yeah,
I'm sorry, I'm thinking it through for myself because I'm trying to figure out that I'm not on the road because I don't think I can take my kids on the road, but not because of what you're doing, because the road is, well, they get car sick. So let's start there. They don't want to be on the road.
Right.
Yeah. So, and they're happy to have their friends and there's no time. And I have little ones. I have a 6-year-old, an 8-year-old, and a 10-year-old, and they're all going to ask their questions quite soon. They just want to hear everything you have to say so they can ask their questions. So that's why they're at the end of our program, so they can actually hear everything while it's going down. So the coping skill of calling and being in touch, making sure they have enough information. And so as a dad, talking to other comedic dads, just do what you do and don't worry. You shouldn't worry about it. It should be something that it's your job. Just like anybody else, you're not an army guy. You're not going to Iraq for 3 years. You're going to be back in 6 weeks. It's their job.
Well, yeah, everything is a trade-off in life. Everything, and you give up one thing for another. I'm not the type of person who sits around a lot regretting the time I missed. I'm sorry about it sometimes, but neither of the kids seem like it's pissing them off, and so I I don't worry about it too much. It's what I did. It's what I do. When I was home, I tried to be here as completely as I could be, and that was the best I had. So
I'm pretty sure it was pretty good. Because you know now, if they're upset, they'd be upset. They would tell you about their shortcomings with their father. You try to stop a 16-year-old from telling you how they feel.
true, very true.
Okay, so going back, I got my little list here. Not a very big list, because as I said, this is a chat, not an interview. So bow ties. I'd like to know where that came from, if you don't mind. The bow tie.
You think you know where it came from?
I don't.
Really?
I don't know where it came from.
Oh, okay.
I don't.
My dad. Came from my dad.
And what did he say that made you... Oh, did he wear bow ties?
He did, and he taught me how to tie them. And he said that any man who wears a clip-on bow tie is a bum. Said that. I wore them for a while a few years ago. I was probably wearing them when you saw me.
Yes, you were a bow tie wearing guy when I saw you, and I asked everyone left and right of me, I wonder if he tied his own tie. I swear that was the thought in my head.
And then I stopped for a few years, and I went back to it, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, and then I wore it on television for America's Got Talent, and that now I pretty much have to wear it. So that's what I wear.
I love that you tie your own tie. I have to be honest, I started wearing bow ties because of Doctor Who, and you, because I said, this is nice. And then I went to stage and I said, you know what, I can't wear the bow tie on stage because it's around the face area. I have a goatee at the time, and I said, I can't pull this off. I'm not going to even... And I have a guitar, John. So
when I pick up the guitar, it's usually at the end of the show, and I usually untie the bow tie.
A little Gangnam style there, a little Sinatra at the end. I like a little Sinatra at the end. That's nice. Okay, so that's why I started. So I moved on to ascots. I now wear ascots. I'm bringing them back.
Nice.
Yeah, well, bow ties was the start of that, because you can actually turn a bow tie into an ascot if you just fold it over itself and tuck it into your shirt. It just looks like you want it. As long as you have a fat enough bow tie. It can't be one of those thin nothings.
And I don't like fat bow ties. I like skinny ones. So
okay, all right, that won't work for you. So I'm not that I'm pitching you should wear ascots, because I love me some bow tie. Now the guitar. I was brought up in the when I came into comedy, your name was brought up the most after Steve Schuster as guitar playing in Canada. There was only 4 or 5 guitar players across Canada doing stand-up comedy or comedy as an entertainer with a guitar. And you were one of them. And the story was that for 9 years, you couldn't find your persona or character, even though the material was funny. But because we didn't know where it was coming from, it lost one of the 3. That's what the pros were saying about the John Wing Jr. story. And then in the 10th year, out of nowhere, a machine gun, because John Wing Jr. knew where he was coming from. He had a foundation. Now, no one can put a finger on what the foundation was. I don't know if after 10 years in the business you got married or if something tragic happened in your life. I don't know. But something happened that turned a guy who wanted to be a performer into a guy who you couldn't stop being a performer. He was killing to the point where, please don't make me follow John Wing Jr. So the question is, what happened? Did anything happen, or is it just time?
The timeline is way off.
Oh, no, you don't know what the 9 years is, though. We're talking... Oh, no, it's still the 9 years from the start of your career from Toronto.
It was about 3 years. I don't know where anybody got 9 years.
Well, it's probably the guy who wasn't booking you. But
in the 3rd year, I started emceeing, and that I somehow figured it out. I got enough stage time that 3rd year that I began to figure out what I was doing, and in the 3rd year, the very beginning of the 3rd year, I was featured in an article in the Globe. So was Simon. And
Hold on, there was a transfer there though. A whole new club opened up, and bad energy happened between the comics. There were 7 comics that left one club to go to another club to help the club start itself up. So maybe that's the story. Maybe that's why the story becomes 9 years, because there was a transfer. You went to another club.
I'll tell you, by 9 years, I was in L.A. I got to L.A. in my roughly at the start of my 8th year. So
no, you already had to have it in motion before 8 years. So someone's throwing out 9.
Actually, it was the start of my 9th year.
Okay.
But no, the club thing, we had some problems. But no, I'll tell you, I was friends with 4 guys who eventually
left the big club and went to the smaller club.
No.
Go on.
This is a different time.
Oh.
The only paying spot was emceeing, 25 a show, and 2 or 3 of the 4 guys I was friends with, and I was friends with them. Simon was one of them.
Yep.
Because we all smoked dope together.
Marijuana. Smoke marijuana.
Yeah.
Which is better for you than alcohol. I'm just throwing that out there.
Oh yeah, totally. It was a lot better. I got addicted to it. So anyway, we all smoked dope together, and what was odd was none of them ever.
John, the reason I'm repeating that for you, just so you can keep your head with the change. My kids are in the room, so we're now talking about recreationally using marijuana, and I'm suggesting to my kids that it's better than alcohol, even though it's illegal right now. But it will be changing. I am on medicinal medicine. I have my card. I'm in a lot of pain, and it really does help me. So much, in fact, I don't get high anymore. That's the worst part. But it does work. If you're in pain, you're going, I'm not high, but my knee doesn't hurt anymore. So it's
yeah.
Okay, so anyway.
I don't use it. My daughter uses it medicinally. Anyway.
Moving forward. Sorry, sir.
So they didn't see me as a rival. Some of them, they didn't think I would ever get to a point where I might actually challenge them. At any rate, 2 or 3 of them were regular hosts, or maybe all 4. And they decided that they needed more money. And they decided to strike as MCs. And they made a slight mistake in that they decided to talk about it with me in the room. So they talked about it with me in the room, and when they struck, I went to the owner of the club and said, gee, I guess you'll be needing somebody to MC.
He's a scab. He's saying he's going to be the first comedic scab.
I scabbed to further my career, and I did. And I'm still friends with all those guys, more or less.
Right.
But I just had to. I did what I had to do in this situation. I scabbed on my friends. I stabbed them in the back.
No, you didn't. But, that's not what happened. But I hear you.
But that was once I got to MC, that really helped me. And then I was just starting to write. Bring the guitar into the show. I brought it into the show in my very first year, for a couple of months, the first time I was doing it, but then I got rid of it, and I brought it in again 3 years later. The article was huge for me because there was a quote of mine in the article that doing comedy was better than sex, and I read the quote, and I said it. And I thought, gee, there's a joke there. And I eventually wrote a routine about it that became
Comedy's
my
better.
signature.
Comedy's better.
Signature piece.
Oh, man. Save my marriage. My marriage.
And I had a song that I'd written And I remember looking at the song and thinking, this is terrible, but the last line's pretty good. So I scrapped the song and wrote a song based on the last line, which was ended up becoming I Hope You Die, which was another signature. So in a period of a couple of months, I wrote a huge signature opening piece and what became a signature closing piece. And really, that's all it took. I also, once my experience level, once the sheer number of times I had done it got up over 300 or so, then I wrote these two bits, and I had an act finally. So
hold on. Where are we? How many years in?
Year 3 into year 4. And I mean, in '85, I did more than 200 shows. And in '86 and '87, I did more than 300 shows both those years. And I mean, I was, oh yeah, that's right. A guy told me 2 jokes over at some point, '85 maybe, and dog with no legs jokes, and I liked them, and I tried one, and it worked, and I thought one night I sat down and wrote like 15 of them, and I started using them as a buffer between song parodies, and that became the music part closing the show, and it was like 25, 30 minutes long, and it was all these jokes with all these parodies, and I developed routines, I developed ideas. It just, I mean, I'm doing in Winnipeg on Wednesday night. I'm doing a brand new hour. So
hold on, a brand new hour of dogs with no leg jokes.
No, brand new hour. You gotta write a new hour every 5 to 10 years.
That's right. It would be 5 minutes a year is what I think you'll actually get AAA material. But 300 shows, you can get way more material because at every show everything can be tagged or moved forward. And best part is you work with different comedians or performers rather. They tag your jokes, they help your jokes. I mean, there's a camaraderie with us that normally you give people feedback on their material, and then what would have been funnier?
That's right.
Yeah, and you still feel that on the road, right? You feel your brethren.
Sure. I don't go on the road much.
What? That was the whole story. 300 shows out of a year.
Right. I don't go on the road and work with other comedians much. Although I'm doing a tour in the fall with Dwight Slade, and that'll be fun because he and I have worked. We were at a comedy festival once, and a couple of years ago, and I needed a joke before a big set, and we sat down in the dressing room and banged one out that ended up working. So that was cool. Yeah, you sometimes when you work with comics, but on ships you don't work with a lot of comics.
Right. On then cruise ships is where I was too. So you don't book yourself on the cruise ships. You have an agent that books that for you.
I have an agent. Yes, 2 actually.
Okay. And just recently I was speaking to I would have been on cruise ships in a heartbeat, but at the time when I was looking to do cruise ships, it was a 3-month minimum contract, and I couldn't do anything for 3 months. I didn't know where my life was going.
Anymore.
No, I heard that. Sorry, sir?
It isn't that anymore for comedians.
But how did that work out? Because what changed? You get helicoptered off of the ship? Like, what changes?
Oh, shit, no. Pardon me. No.
Hey, kids, it's okay. That's CBC friendly up until about 6 p.m. I think you're good with that word.
What do they do? What they do now is they bring you in the middle of one cruise, and you work till the middle of the next one, so they get 2 weeks work out of you for a week's pay. There's that.
Okay.
But it's the longest contract I've ever worked on a ship is 3 weeks.
Oh, then you've been doing cruise ships since the beginning of time. How did you get away with that? Is it because of LA? It's because you're in LA?
I started 20 years ago. 2 weeks to a month was as long as you would go as a performer, and I never did more than 2 weeks on my first line that I worked for. Now occasionally I work Norwegian, and they sometimes bring you out for 3 weeks.
Okay. Did you because you like the road that way? Are you would be happier with three week stints rather than the free week? You know what I mean? Getting 1 week fade.
I prefer 2 weeks is about my limit. I just got back from 16 days, which was 2 ships for one for 6 days, one for 5 days, 2 travel days, and a night in between. Well, that's not right.
No, but 2 weeks is what you like to do on the water.
2
now,
nights.
Yeah, 2 weeks
2
is
nights,
good for you.
Whatever.
Now, with
But
me, the last beat for me for what I needed the love from you is the guitar. Have you been playing guitar for always and forever? Is that how long you been playing that guitar for?
Since I was 19.
19. That's an interesting time to pick up a guitar. Most kids pick it up for high school.
No, in high school I played piano and trombone. And drums.
No, that's good. That's cool. That's cool.
I was a drummer too, but mostly I started in piano, played trombone in high school band.
Right.
I played drums later, played drums during high school, taught myself to play drums, and then picked up the guitar in college at 19. So yeah.
Okay. Well, that's everything I needed to know. You've answered every question I needed and wanted, so thank you very much for that. I'll be sending you something so I could divide this up into 4 or 5 clips. One's for the dad show, one's for the kids show, and the kids show is what we're going to be starting just now. And this Friday, I'll be promoting your roast and everything that's going on in the weekend, as well as anything else you want to promote at the end. I'll put them as the post, the wwws, your website. You actually have a Wikipedia page that's very informative, so I don't know who's doing that for you, but that's up and running. Okay. We couldn't find a website specific, so you're going to need that if you're going to be selling yourself an album, unless it's going straight through the album company only. But in general, you are out there. You're online, and you are available. Like, if we want your image, if we want to know about you, you're out there online.